We've been using the Unitarian facility for over 20 years. When they moved to the western part of this town, we've been using that facility over there for a good bit of time where we would do our monthly pujas and other activities. And then when we bought this 2-acre property, what we decided to do was the religious activities of some or the daily activities by which that people can go and pray is in that temporary facility that we have there, which is a house that we've converted into a temporary temple. What we're planning now to do is to take the property behind that, and we would be building our temple over the next couple of years so that we have our own temple and we could use this interfaith facility as well, which is why we have this Unitarian Universalist congregation as well as the Ganesh Mandir as a overall campus that we will use it for. I came to this country in 1986, and to the community here, it's been almost 30 years since I've been here. When I came here, there were about few of us that were not married and about a few families that were also here. Years later, at the end of 1990, I left to go with Cummins to other places. We went to Tennessee, we went to Mexico, we went to England, and we returned back in 2008. What happened was when I came back here, I was enormously surprised at the number of people that have increased of the Indian and the Hindu community. When we left in 1999, there were about 50 families. When we came back, and now today, there's almost 2,000 people of the Indian and Hindu community in Columbus. When I came to this particular facility, we used to use the Unitarian Church from the middle of 90s to do our monthly puja and some sort of activities that we would do once a month.
Okay. What is the concept of this church?
The Unitarian Church is a very welcoming church in comparison to some of the other churches that are very, very hierarchical, and that is also very much, how would I say that this is a liberal church,
okay,
where they are accepting of all kinds, and at the same time they not only have accepting of particular forms of worship, but in their own way that they have different forms of worship.
So they are more inclusive than most of them religious practices.
Right. Which is why they are called Unitarian Universalist.
Okay, yeah.
Right? No matter what your philosophy is, no matter what your beliefs are, you could actually practice those beliefs here with a basic thing.
Yeah.
So when I came there at the time, and I realized that ours is a small community, but more importantly, if we have to do some things, we have to share with another community that is welcoming of us. Which is how we said that while there are some things that are common that we want to do together, and there are some things that are very specific to us that we wanted to do it ourselves in terms of what we wanted to have. That's when in 2015 or so we started the interfaith community activity as to how do we bring different faiths together where we can be interdependent by being dependent on some things and by being independent on some things.
Okay.
That's when we bought this property, which is about 2 acres, adjacent to the Unitarian Church.
Okay.
And when we bought this property, we said that, hey, what we would do is we would construct our own temple.
Okay.
And as we are constructing our own temple, we will also use the facility of the Unitarian Church.
So the question is whether this small temple is good enough for.
Well,
there is a real demand for a bigger temple, no?
Well, the way we started it was in the early 90s, we used to have the Unitarian Church, and we used to do one program at a time. Once a month, we used to meet. There'll be about 15, 20 people.
Only festivals and something.
Right. And then since we bought this property, as people have been asking us lots of things to do, so we've been having a Gurukul program for a long period of time. And we also do certain pujas that we have, important ones, like Sankranti or Ugadi and things like that we would celebrate. There will be about 100 to 150 people.
So all that happened in this?
No, most of them we could not do it over there. We used to do it at the Unitarian Church because we cannot accommodate 150 people. And likewise...
But that doesn't give the feel of a temple and the festival, right?
That's the biggest thing that people felt like, is that most of us want to relate back to what we grew up with in India. And the Indian temple environment as to how it is peaceful, that you can come at your own time and celebrate and do the things that you want.
How big could be the crowd?
The crowd could be about 200 people that could come for some of these
places. That's a great number, yeah?
That's right. Whereas on most days, people want to do it on their own. That's the other thing that we don't have at temple, where we could actually say, hey, you could come at any time. There is a priest that is there. There is someone that is available, and they could come and pray, and they could be in solitude that they wanted to be.
Okay. So that's the reason you...
Right, that's why that we are hoping that we will build this 8,000 square foot facility, which will accommodate over 150 people or so.
Okay.
And we will have certain deities that will be like Ganesh, Shiva, and Vishnu as well that we would have, plus a Navagraha. That's what we are
And
thinking
you also
about.
have facilities for community gathering and programs.
That's right, that's right. So when we are not just coming in for just religious or ritual activities, we would use it for other purposes as well. And some of these other purposes could be that we would have Sunday classes over there, we could have dance and other programs that we have, vernacular classes that you could have. These are the kinds of things.
I'm doing fabulous. Have you heard about the Sri Ganesh Mandir groundbreaking?
I don't think so.
Really? It's a big event happening in Columbus, Indiana. There's going to be a Havan by family with 4 members. There's 2 slots. One is from 10:30 to 11 a.m. and the other one's from 11 to 11:30 a.m. It's limited to 27 Havans only. There's also going to be a donor brick. And on the brick you can have one single name. It's a Bhumi Puja Day special offer. There's also going to be a Maha Ganapati Homa Yajnam. There are 500 kits that are available and ready from 10:30 a.m. to 12 noon.
How'd someone book their kit or slot?
All the information will be on the HSI website. So if this is the Unitarian Universalist congregation, this is where the temple is going to be. So it's 6,000 square feet construction on 2 acres of land. So I hope to see you there on Saturday, August the 3rd.
Will do.
Bye.
Bye.
Namaste, my name is the Reverend Nick Cable, and I am the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Columbus, Indiana. I've been the minister here for 2 years, and what really inspired me to come to this community is all of the interfaith partners, especially the Hindu community that was in this town, this small town in the Midwest, where vibrant and beautiful things were happening. What I'm so excited about is coming up in just a couple weeks, we have a groundbreaking, a very auspicious day that is years and years in the making, where we will celebrate with our Hindu siblings, breaking ground for this new temple, a temple that will be a place for all ages to celebrate Hinduism and Indian culture, a place that will be just a stone's throw from this community, the Unitarian Universalist congregation. Together we are nurturing an interfaith community, a community and a campus where all can learn, where everyone can learn about the beauty of the world religions, about all of the gifts and texts of Hinduism that inspire and have inspired for millennia. I'm excited, and I hope you will join me on August 3rd, where there will be many events for everyone in the whole community, not just Hindus, not just members of UUCCI, but the whole Columbus area. There you can celebrate through learning about the puja, the religious ceremonies. You can participate in the Havan, where you can learn about how Hinduism is creating these auspicious moments for shared learning and shared devotion on that important day. And then there'll be an important groundbreaking ceremony at noon on Saturday, August 3rd, where there'll be special speakers, and we will end with food and fellowship where we can all celebrate on this really important day. This is a day that is long in coming. I thank all of the interfaith partners and HSSI leadership who has committed to making this dream a reality. If you have already supported the financial work of this endeavor, thank you, and I hope you, if you have not, or if you're able to give more, that you do so. This truly is a blessing to the whole community. I look forward to seeing you there.
How do you feel the relevance of Hindu temple coming over to this interfaith campus?
You know, the Hindu community breaking ground a stone's throw from this building feels so appropriate, feels auspicious, because Unitarian Universalism, our community, not only values world religions, but it, from its birth here in Columbus, Indiana, 52 years ago, was an interfaith partner with so many institutions. Our first building that we met in was North Christian on the north side of town. And the Jewish community met with us and has moved with us to different institutions, different buildings over the time, over the last 52 years. And the Hindu community started meeting in our building over 20 years ago. And so now we're in a place where that Hindu community is developing into this wonderful institution, a community of all ages of learning, and so it is only right that it breaks ground just a stone's throw from here. Hinduism, like Unitarian Universalism, celebrates the beauty of learning in community, and it celebrates that there is a way of being that can be more compassionate, service-oriented, that can celebrate how we honor our families and our communities, and so that's why it just makes so relevant for it to be happening. These walls are like permeable. They are like Swiss cheese, as I like to say, where we take our values into our day-to-day lives. So, for example, we are supportive of racial justice and of environmental justice. We want to ensure that everyone is able to live with the appropriate economic support and ensure that no one goes hungry. And so our ministry takes us beyond these walls. We value that every person is afforded a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. That we're all on a spiritual journey, no matter whether we believe in Buddhist practice or we believe in a God or no God. We have something to learn from one another. And that's, I think, something that is very shared with Hinduism, that we all are a teacher, that we are all a learner across our entire lives. And so we do a lot of classes around learning and ways of taking that interior life and bringing it out into our practical day-to-day lives.
When you said that 20 years you were in collaboration with the Hindu community here, could you remember something in that?
So I'm still new to the community 2 years ago, but what I've heard stories of is that there have been wonderful Hindu leaders over the years who have collaborated with our leaders here, who have offered classes, who have shared space and supported one another. I've heard stories of people in the late 90s who would call home and tell their mothers, don't worry about me. I found this great group of Unitarians who took me in, and I was able to be my Hindu self and be Indian and be a part of this community. And I think as more and more Indians have come here, mainly through Cummins, that community has grown, and now there's this wonderful, beautiful, entire geographically diverse area of India that have moved to Columbus, Indiana, with all of the cultural and linguistic and different ways of participating in Hinduism, which has made now the community prepared to take this next step financially and institutionally with the making of a new temple to choose from.
Hearing or reading and doing practically makes a lot of difference, right? So I'm sure being part of the program will be a great experience.
Absolutely. Coming on August 3rd will be essential to learning more and celebrating our Hindu siblings on this auspicious day, and that can't be the end-all be-all of it. We must continue to build relationships over time. So we say, okay, I'd like to learn more about Sanskrit. I'd love to learn more about Bhagavad Gita. I'd love to learn more language, even modern vernacular language. I've heard there's Tamil classes, other kinds of things. These are ways for us to not just learn more about the world, but to learn more about our fellow neighbor. And in doing so, you come over to someone's house and you're able to say, I understand what that is. I understand what that candle being lit means in that thing. That is affirming of your humanity and not assuming, I don't have to learn about it. You do have to learn about it. That's what makes Columbus great and what will make it even greater in the years to come.
Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely.
विघ्न विनाशक पाल